And at that point I thought, okay, no more doctors. In fact, all the doctors I saw didn't know what to do with me, especially with the pain. They couldn't tell why I was
Pain
you know. So I'm
management.
sent to go start seeing a pain specialist. I never even knew up until that point. I didn't know they
They're
existed.
actually pain doctors.
You
Like there's
know,
a doctor who studied
Yeah.
how to resolve pain.
I know, but this is manage.
Manage your pain.
You get
Okay.
like when did I get there? Where now my life is about managing pain. You get what I mean?
Yes.
And so I'm in that space, like just that lady, 12 years of suffering.
Yes.
And for me, what shocked me at that point, you and I perhaps would be discouraged. Would be like me, like no more doctors, no more maids. You know, I'm done. In fact, I was even done for. I wouldn't get married.
Like you were done.
I was done. Kabisa, I was done. But you read a line in that story that says she heard about Jesus. And I was like, what have I heard about Jesus? Because after 12 years, this guy, okay, he's been healing people. I mean, doctors have been curing people, so to speak. So where did she get the courage to go see Jesus, to go see one more physician? You know, after 12 years of discouragement, perhaps he will even ask me for money,
Yeah.
which is gone.
Yeah.
You know, but then she actually goes. Now, again, the scenario presents itself in the sense that Jesus had a crowd around him.
him.
This is a lady who's been weak. I mean,
Yes,
where does she get the
the
strength,
strength
to push through the crowd and to get to where Jesus?
And to even know this is Jesus.
This is Jesus. You know,
Yes.
if I could only, I mean, her faith. If I could only touch
The hem of
the
his garment.
hem of his garment, and
It tells me there's her faith, but she's
Yeah.
also understanding
yes,
the cultural aspects of I don't want to
make him
I don't want to make
unclean.
him unclean.
Yeah.
But I believe he still has the power to heal me.
You know, I mean, and that just when I don't think it had even hit me before I started preaching. I started preaching that sermon and things just started happening to me. I'm like, I don't even think I have ever prayed for myself like with a conviction that I can get healed. But also, have I heard about Jesus? What has Jesus said about my condition? What has he been saying? You know, so it got me back to the place where I don't think I've done those 12 years right. I don't think I've been hearing the Lord. I don't think I have waited on him to just hear what he has to say about where I'm at.
Yeah.
And for me, that just blew my mind off. I was like, hey, no, I haven't done 12 years right. And I just started praying for myself.
Wow.
And I text Wami and I tell her, you know, I'm doing this.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you went through my
Yeah.
friend Wami.
Yeah.
And I had told her, no, I'm not doing it. I don't share.
Yeah.
I'm not a sharer. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, now you want me to share on that
Yeah,
platform to
yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
I'm like, no. But God convicted me that even to be able to share that sermon, and in fact, one of the things I had suggested, because we had been doing in our church a series called Sheltered. And that day we were doing Sheltered when sickness strikes. And I started asking myself,
Yeah.
have I felt the shelter? Or God being God, it's been there, but have I acknowledged it?
That there is shelter.
But that I have been sheltered.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the things I've shared. You'd think it's all gloom, but I had medical cover. I had people praying with me, you know, and all these things.
Understanding
I had
bosses.
understanding bosses that would
Yeah.
allow me. You know,
Yes.
all I need to call I need to do is to call and say I'm in pain. I'm not feeling well today, and I'd be allowed to work from home. You know, even when we resumed work a little on a daily basis, and I had already explained my story to them, so they understood. No questions, no, okay, you work from home. If we need you, we'll let you know.
call you.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so at that point I started realizing God had sheltered me. I just hadn't acknowledged the shelter that has been there.
Yes.
But also something else hit me that day, that God is sovereign. If he wanted to remove the sickness, he would. Because in Psalm 103, he tells us he heals all diseases. All. Discovered,
There's
not
noth-
discovered,
yes.
no, novel, coronavirus, he healed all.
All.
You know?
All
And
diseases.
it hit me that God has been with me. I just,
along.
you know, I was even beginning to shy away from ministry. But, you know, God started telling me and showing me, I am with you. And perhaps there's something he wants to do through this sickness.
Through this, yes.
You know?
Yes.
And that got me to the place of a thorn in the flesh.
Yes.
You know, it hit me that day that one of the things God hadn't told me is that this is a thorn in the flesh. You know, a thorn in the flesh is where Paul says, and I have a thorn in my flesh. And he had tried to pray about it, but God hadn't removed it. So he started praying for grace to deal with it. But one of the things that I haven't had is this is a thorn in the flesh.
So God hasn't made that clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means I need to pray it out. So I started praying.
Yo, pray. Pray. Don't call it a thorn, it'll become.
Unless it is. Unless God has said
Unless, yes.
it is a thorn
Yes.
in your flesh.
So pray for the grace
You know,
to handle
and that
it.
day after the service, we just had a time of prayer. And let me tell you,
My word.
God just visited. You know, we prayed and prayed, you know, in the service. People have been carrying diseases and been thinking, oh, you know, I just suffer from hypertension.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
diabetes.
It's a family thing.
You know,
like nimezoea.
you know,
like it's-
my son is just an addict, or my daughter, you know
and
because
people
addiction
have,
have
people have
accepted.
accepted it.
Yeah.
Like it's said so nonchalantly.
You know?
Not that they're not going through a rough period, but
Yes.
it's just, you've accepted.
You've accepted it. And at that moment, God convicted us, and our fellow pastor, we were praying for the congregation. God convicted us. If it's not a thorn in the flesh, cast it out, pray. And we prayed. And we prayed, and God just ministered to us. And God gives my fellow pastor a word, pray for Jackie. And you know, I just felt God had visited me. It was the first time that I had felt, you know, that kind of power. You know, it is the first time that I'd felt, you know, that kind of ministry. And not that it hadn't been there. It's me who had not acknowledged that God can heal all our diseases, including what is fibroids and IBS and I don't know, sciatic nerve, you know, all those things that I could be going through. And God just ministered to me. And I think that day, God gave me a completely new outlook on what He's doing. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my 12 years. If He heals me now, I'm claiming it.
Amen.
If He will heal me after 12 years, I'm going to continue serving Him. I'm going to do my 12 years right. I'm going to be in a space where I'm serving Him. I'm hearing what He has to say, because that's the only place I can tap my strength from.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Now, it's not that I don't have days of pain,
Yeah.
but a testimony I have and I must share is that right now I'm only taking two dawas.
From
You know,
the
from
total
6 to 2.
yes.
And even these 2, I don't take on a daily basis.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I only have to take a painkiller when the pain is extreme.
Extreme,
You
yeah.
know, and I only have to take antacids, you know, to manage the IBS and here and there,
Yes.
or probiotics, you know,
Yes.
because a lot of my money was going into meds. Not only you're seeing a doctor on a monthly basis, you have to buy meds.
Yes.
And I realized, I looked back and I was like, oh, I actually haven't been taking meds for, you know, now I only take when I need. And
So
then,
you're finding even the positives
yeah,
in this journey.
which I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, because you'd be like, man, I'm still on medication.
You know, and
yeah.
and again, the pain specialist that I was seeing was amazing. This lady doctor was amazing. I pray for her salvation because I
Amen.
know she's of a different faith. I
Amen.
pray for her salvation. I mean, she walked the journey with me.
Oh, wow.
She was the one telling me, I need to wean you off medicine. I mean, doctors don't tell you that, you know.
Yeah.
She walked with me. I mean, I have a boyfriend who I didn't know how to explain these things. That's also a miracle because I decided no marriage, you know, at
You
that
are like
point.
now at this point.
You know, and
Yeah.
God gave me the most understanding man. And it's like, okay, invite him. I will explain to him, you know.
Wow.
Because, you know, you get to a point where you don't even know what's going on.
Yes,
Like, if doctors are still trying to figure out, Sembuse Mimi,
Yes.
who's not
Yes.
a doctor.
Yes.
You know, and God just started ministering to me
wow.
at a personal level. Another testimony is that I'm here talking about it.
Yeah.
Something that,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't talk to anyone about. And it started that day when I was invited to preach in one of our church branches. And God just gave it to me. Like, no, don't just preach,
Yes,
share.
share.
And so I'm like, okay, you know how you're holding your mouth, don't
Yeah.
say, don't say, don't say.
You're like, well, we
and,
say.
and
Like
it just
we
comes
say.
out, you know, it's like God is pushing me, you know,
Yeah.
share the sermon,
Yeah.
but bring out the humanity aspect,
Humanity
as you
of
put
it.
it, that, you know, even pastors, they're not immune
To things
to
that are happening,
you know,
to life.
you know.
Even Jesus himself was not
Exactly.
immune to it. So
You
just
know?
that humanity of
Yeah.
Christ.
And
Oh, wow.
I just sat there and I was sharing and I was like, who is this person right now? You know, from a personality level, from dealing with it, you know,
Yeah.
the emotional, the psychological aspect.
Yes.
I'm not a sharer.
Yes.
So that's why I'm telling you, me being here and me sharing that day is a milestone that I've come in this journey. I don't want to really call it the journey with sickness. I want to call it journey with God.
Journey with God, the discovery journey with God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I'm learning to lean on God in a way I haven't done before.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
I'm learning to just wait on him, something that I haven't done before. I'm learning not to rush, to take time and pray and ask God, what do you want out of this? Or even just take the first step, because sometimes he doesn't give us, most of the time, he doesn't give us the big picture. He gives us the immediate, you know, just take the first step of obedience, take the first step of trust. So I'm learning to lean on him. And then coincidentally, I read this book, Coronavirus and Christ, by, is it Tim Keller?
Yeah.
And when Corona hit, he had just been diagnosed of cancer. And, you know, he makes this statement, if I die, I will be with the Lord. And I was like, these crazy Christians, can I become one of them?
Yeah.
Like,
Radical for
you
Christ.
know, how do you say something
this
like
is
that?
my flesh.
Yeah, if
but-
I die, I will be with Christ. Yeah, and they've reached that space with God that they can make such bold statements. And I started looking into my life and I was like, can I say that if I die, I will be with Christ?
Yes.
You know, some of us want to live on this life.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
like, I'm
make
still-
money, drive that car, you know, have that
Yeah.
big house, get
Yes.
married, 3 children.
Yeah.
And all that is fine, but is that what God has planned for you? Is that what is in your path? And if you die today, you know, will you be with Christ? You know, are you satisfied that you will be with Christ? You know? And I just started reevaluating my life and how I've dealt with this and just thinking, you know, my focus needs to be God.
Oh, wow.
He can deal with this disease. So why am I focusing on these minor things when I have a big God?
Yes.
You know? And slowly God has taken me to that place. And that's why I'm saying I'm learning to lean on God in ways I haven't done before. Maybe before I was doing it because I have a skill, you know, I'm strong, I work out, I eat healthy, you know, those things that because I do these things, then I know how to, you know, go around, to navigate through life. But now I realize, hey, God is the one who helps you navigate life. He's the one who has set that path for you, you know?
Yes.
And I'm like, if I die, I will be with Christ.
I will be with Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know?
That is, I think, even as we conclude, I just want you to just speak to our audience as they're watching and anyone who's going through any tough situation.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, God definitely is using your pain in terms of where you're called. Maybe the ministry is about healing. Maybe that's also a place. I was listening to Apostle Selman the other day, and you're just, you know, teaching on how do you know where you're called. And part of that is there's the place of the skill and what you're passionate about, but there's a place of pain. That in that place of pain, chances are that is where your calling is. And so I just want you to speak to anyone who's tuned in, either they've just discovered they've been diagnosed by something that is going to be life-changing, or they are helping, or their family, that they're, you know, they're there with someone else. Just the way you stood with your brother.
Yeah.
There's someone out there who's a caregiver. Maybe there's someone else who's going through a rough patch in terms of family or in terms of mental wellness. Just speak to them, just, you know, in a few minutes, and speak a word of encouragement to them.
I think for me, what has helped me is my walk with God. Sometimes I wonder, where would I be if I wasn't working with God? Where would I be if I didn't have trust in God? And I think I'm getting there. I wouldn't say I'm there. I haven't dealt with the issues, with the health issues that I have, but I think I'm learning to lean on God. And for me, my encouragement to anyone out there is that we serve a big God. We serve a big God who can take care of these things. But He sometimes wants us to go through a few things, a few challenges here and there to refine us, really. I once had this quote that when a silversmith is asked, how do you know silver is pure? And he says, it's when I can see my reflection on it. Meaning all the impurities have been burnt away. And what remains is pure silver. And so for me, Paul says, rejoice in your suffering. I'm learning to rejoice. I'm not even there. I'm learning to rejoice in the suffering because I know that God is refining me. So you may be out there and your pain is even a little bit more, especially in this season where we've gone through a lot of grief.
Yes.
And and just wait on God, focus on God. Sometimes it sounds like a Christian cliche, focus on God, lean on God. But for me, that is a testament. For me, it's something that I have experienced, that when I have focused on God, my problems have reduced. When I have focused on my problems, they've become big. They've become big. They've cost me a social life, spiritual life, not feeling like praying or reading the word. But the moment I began to focus on God, my perspective changed completely. And God started reaching to me in a place that no one else would have reached out to me apart from God. I know, suffering, sometimes say, why is a big God allowing this? For me, if in the end, Christ can present me to His Father as blameless, that would be victory. So is it going through disease to get me there? Let's get there, So if I die, for me, like Tim Keller, I'm going to say, if I die, I will be with Christ. And I don't want to be removed from this place until God gets me to that point where He can see His reflection on me. And so let me just encourage you. It may be tough, it may be painful, but God cries with us. God cries with us like He cried with Lazarus' sisters when they had lost him. God cries with us. He feels our pain. He understands. And only He can deal with it. Only He can carry it to that point because His mercies are renewed. Mimi, I may get tired, but God does not get tired. He will be with you. So if it means that you look more and more like Him every day, that's fine. Like Paul, I will say, not even with my own strength, that I will rejoice in my suffering. I want to run away from suffering, living sacrifices. When the altar becomes hot, you may just walk and run. The problem with living sacrifices. So for me, it's actually I'm praying to God to continue giving me strength to remain standing even when suffering hits. Remain standing, not necessarily for the suffering to be removed if it's not its time, but that to the very end, I remain standing,
Oh, wow.
And that would be my encouragement.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Thank you all for tuning in as you've had it from Jackie, Pastor Jackie, that even those who are serving are going through life's ups and downs. But one statement I will end this show with is that the victory is in the journey and not the going through. I know that's a statement you shared with me. But yes, indeed, victory is in the journey. May God give you the strength. May you have the community that you need surrounding you and uplifting you, whether in prayer, in words, or in deed. But may you have that strength. And may you be victorious as you go through this journey. Have a good one and stay tuned. Thanks, fam.